shooting straight from the hip.
Yeah, you know I'm always shooting straight from the hip.
Let's take a trip around the curve. Hi, everybody. How you doing? Let me find my way to the camera, and I can come on with you. Give me a second. I don't know why this isn't showing up. Oh, there I am in the corner. I'm in the corner. I'm not trying to be in the corner. There we go. That was crazy, wasn't it? The joys of technology, honey. There we go. Turn this around this way. Hi, everybody. This is your girl, Carla Renata, aka the Curvy Film Critic. I know I have not been here for a couple of weeks, so two things. The first thing is I dealt with the Oscars and I had an assignment for that, which I'll talk about in a minute. But the most important thing is, and I'm going to try to say this without breaking into a total puddle, my father passed away on February 24th. The Oscars were on March 2nd, and I had to travel to St. Louis to lay him to rest. And that is where I am. This is in his house. So this is the background that you see. I'm in his den. So it's been a struggle for me. I'm not going to lie. But doing this and talking about films brings me immense joy. So I thought I would just, try to do a podcast, see how I feel. And if I'm not feeling it, I won't be back for a minute. But I'm going to try to get through this and say what I have to say. I know that my boy Brandon popped through and he said that he said, I heard both of them are great. I'm not sure what he was talking about when he said that, though. So we'll find out sooner or later because he'll pop back in. All right. So today I did some interviews and things before my father passed. One of them was with Jennifer Coolidge for a film that she's in called Riff Raff. That's Jennifer right there. And then the second interview that I did was with the cast of Dope Thief. This is a series that is streaming or will be streaming on Apple Plus TV beginning March 14th. Riff Raff, you can catch it on YouTube, I believe now, and it is in theaters. But before I get into that, let's talk about briefly the Oscars, because I know I'm a week late, more than a week late talking about that, but I'm just going to give you some brief highlights. I did some pundit work for a bunch of foreign outlets. So that is me on the red carpet with my good friend, George Pinocchio, who is the entertainment critic for ABC 7 in Los Angeles. The very first time I was on the red carpet for the Oscars, I met him. And so I wanted to commemorate my next time, which was this past time on the Oscars red carpet, by taking a picture with him. I did some pundit work for Rotten Tomatoes where we talked about what our Oscar predictions are. So you can go to the Rotten Tomatoes site, or you can go to RottenTomatoes.com, or you can go to Rotten Tomatoes on YouTube and check that out. As predicted, Zoe Saldana swept the awards. That was one of my favorite moments. Another one of my favorite moments was watching Paul Tazwell make history with Wicked. He is the first African-American male to win an Oscar for costume design. And of course, the first African-American female was Ruth E. Carter. One of my y'all know I'm a fan of Wicked, so one of my favorite things was watching Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande sing Defying Gravity. This was the highlight of the Oscars for me. You can see all of the winners of the Oscars on I think it's Oscars.org site or any place. I'm sure they all have the winners up by now. I also did, and if you don't want to do all that, I did a article the night of the Oscars for RogerEbert.com I titled it Honora's Real Life Fairy Tale, Five Oscar Victories for Indie Film. And yeah, so that's what I have been doing in addition to planning my dad's service and everything. But let's get into it, shall we? So let's talk a little bit about Miss Riff Raff, honey. Miss Riff Raff, the mess that she is. Um, Riff Raff, like I said, can be seen on YouTube. It was released on February 28th. It is directed by Dito Montiel, and it stars Jennifer Coolidge, Ed Harris, Pete Davidson, Bill Murray, among others. Now, what happens is this former criminal's ordinary life is turned upside down when his family shows up for a long awaited reunion. The long awaited reunion is just shenanigans. It was a hot mess. What I will say about this film is it's a really slow burn of a film. It's a dark comedy that kind of makes fun of mobsters and how they handle their business and the people that surround their business. The performances are fire, but the script is just aight. So, I mean, this film is okay. You will enjoy it because of the people in it that I have already named, but it's a little bit of a slow burn. I'm not gonna lie and tell you. So, but what I will say, oh wait, before I go to Jennifer's, so oh okay. So Brandon says also, Win or Lose from Pixar is super great. It is super great. I actually watched that. It was good. I loved it. But you know, I can't review that because it's a TV series, and I only review TV series if they are documentary related or film related. So there's that. Yeah. So I just wanted to pull that up. So let's get into it. Oh, sorry. Jennifer Coolidge, talk to me. This is probably one of the more controlled interviews with Jennifer Coolidge. You know, we're used to seeing her be very crazy and out of the box and really funny, but she's a little bit more serious here. So take a look and a listen to this interview with Jennifer Coolidge from the film Riff Raff.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. I thought you were inside that white thing behind you.
No, girl, I wasn't hiding from you. I really wasn't. You shoot straight from the hip in pretty much every role you play with no filter. And I just wanted to know, do you oftentimes incorporate that into your work?
Yes, yes, if they allow me to improvise on a job. I mean, you know, sometimes some writers, and I don't blame them. Some writers are very married to the script they wrote. They spent a long time, you know, writing it, and they don't want a variation on it. They want you to do the script, and I totally get that, and I do that. But if they ask me if I would, you know, like to improvise in a scene, when I never turn it down.
When you are dealing with people in the entertainment industry on a set, do you really give your all to your chosen family?
I don't know. Maybe sometimes I'm kind of insecure, and I think of like, sometimes I don't try to cross the line and get too buddy unless they do. I don't know if, you know, I'm kind of nervous sometimes about, like, you know, going like, hey, when are we going out tonight? You know, are we going out after, you know, but yeah, so I have to feel it out. You know, sometimes, you know, you're just, I don't have the guts to cross the line, and I kind of wait to see if they'll want to go out and do something social.
I can understand that. How much fun did you have laying there with no lines? Because as an actress, I would think that would be like the best gig ever, to let everybody else act around you, but still be present, but not be present. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like it. I like anything that is less work. Yes.
And how long did you have to shoot in the woods?
I don't know what that wasn't, that like 3 weeks or something. It was freezing. It was freezing. It was ridiculously cold, and every moment outside was unbearable. But it was just so freezing cold. But you know, you're in it with a cool group of people, and everyone was really nice on that movie, and I made some great friends, and yeah, it was you know, freezing was worth it. And I never say that. I grew up in Boston. Freezing was never worth it, but it is when, you know, you're out with that very prestigious group of actors that you've seen for a long time and wished, you could work, that's what's so great. When you're young, you're like, I really would love to work with them, but it doesn't ever seem like a possibility. And then when you're older, it actually happens sometimes. And it's thrilling. It's just thrilling.
Girl, I overstand. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm not trying to be anybody's cold, snow, and ice. So I get it. Being from a city that's cold. But I just want to wrap it up and say I appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking time for me. I'm a huge fan of yours, and this was a real pleasure for me to be able to speak to you today. Thank you so much.
You.
She was the bomb. I kind of liked her. I was taken aback by her demeanor because it was a lot less fluffy than what I'm used to seeing in person. But I can tell you that a lot of times people that do comedy, they aren't as animated as they are in real life. They're a little more toned down because in real life, when they're working, they have to be all of that. So thank you, Jennifer Coolidge. And again, that was about the film Riff Raff. Now, the next one that I'm going to talk about is going to be Dope Thief. But before I get into Dope Thief, the South by Southwest Film Festival is going on right now. And I've had the pleasure of seeing some of these films. So let me tell you about a few of them. But I also want to tell you that there is a Roberta Flack. We just lost Roberta Flack, Grammy Award winning Roberta Flack, who is mostly well known for a song called The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face. Um, there is a PBS documentary about the legendary songstress. It is free on PBS until March 31st. So I wanted to let you know about that. Now let's get into these South by Southwest films. There is a film that the embargo is lifting today at 4. So you can go to my site, thecurvyfilmcritic.com. I'll put the ticker tape up at the end so that you can be reminded of where to go. But it's called The Makings of Curtis Mayfield. It's under embargo until 4 o'clock Central Time, so I can't talk about it. But what I can tell you is that the review will be on my site, and I can tell you that it is directed by her, Grammy and Oscar award winning her. She deals with the legacy of this singer, songwriter, guitarist, producer, entrepreneur, Curtis Mayfield, marking her directorial debut. This is a uniquely personal and music forward documentary that delves into Mayfield's groundbreaking songwriting, his innovative guitar techniques, and iconic film soundtracks. That's what it's about. You can go to my site, thecurvyfilmcritic.com, to see the review after the embargo lifts. I did watch I'm Carl Lewis. The embargo has lifted on this one. I'm Carl Lewis unpacks the extraordinary and often misunderstood life of 9-time Olympic gold medalist Carl Lewis, one of track and field's most dominant yet polarizing figures. What I can tell you about this one is that I remember Carl Lewis. I remember in real time him training and competing in the Olympics. I was not aware that he had 8 gold medals and 1 silver. He has broken the record that has only been held in terms of medals by Black athletes in track and field by Jesse Owens. Jesse Owens is the only other person that has multiple medals in track and field who was an Olympian. So Carl Lewis broke his record. Carl Lewis was very controversial. He was very asexual. You didn't know if he was a man or if a woman. And that was even more solidified when he took this famous picture with some red pumps that he recreates in the documentary. What I will say, to be brief about it, is that Carl Lewis shoots straight from the hip. He says what he means and he means what he says. And this was during a time where if you were a Black athlete competing for anything, you were supposed to be humble. You were supposed to not be gregarious and forward thinking and out there and just, and he was criticized for that, the same way that Muhammad Ali was criticized for being that same type of gregarious, out there kind of individual. But Carl Lewis made history. And if he were in like his sister says in the documentary, if we were any place else other than in America, he would be a god. And that is a damn shame that people are not giving this man his due. If he was anything but a black man, he'd be on you still be seeing him and talking about him everywhere. I'm just saying. So move this mic just a little bit. So that's what I'm saying about Carl Lewis. It's called I'm Carl Lewis. It's at the South by Southwest Film Festival. It'll play again on the March 11th, which is tomorrow, and the 13th, I believe. So you can, if you're at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, you can check that out there. Another film that I watched is called Uvalde Mom. So let me show you. So this is Carl Lewis, so that you know who I'm talking about. And then this one is Uvalde Mom. Uvalde Mom follows the extraordinary story of Angeli Rose Gomez, a farm worker and single mother who risked everything to save her two sons during the May 2022 mass shooting at Robb Elementary in Uvalde, Texas. While nearly 400 armed officers waited 77 minutes to act, Angeli ran into the school, pulled her children to safety, and became a viral symbol of courage. But as she spoke out against law enforcement's inaction, she faced intense harassment from authorities who weaponized her past to discredit and silence her. That is playing at the South by Southwest Festival. I will give the dates of all of them when I am finished. This is the Curtis Mayfield doc that I spoke about. And there are a couple of other ones that I saw, including Arrest the Midwife. This would be Arrest the Midwife. And I saw Dear Tomorrow. So if you were at the South by Southwest Festival, that is my abridged version of what is playing there. Again, you can go and see all of the reviews that I'm writing about South by Southwest and anything else that I speak about here on the Curvy Film Critic at thecurvyfilmcritic.com. I will put this banner up there so that you can see it and you will not be confused. All right, there we go. So let's talk a little bit about Dope Thief. Dope Thief is on Apple TV Plus beginning on March 14th. It's created by Peter Craig. It stars Brian Tyree Henry, Wagner Moura, Kate Mulgrew, Marin Ireland, Amir Aronson, and Nesta Cooper. Two lifelong friends, played by Brian and Wagner, pose as DEA agents to rob a house only to have their small-time grift become a life-death enterprise as they reveal and unravel a big hidden narcotics corridor on the eastern seaboard. So instead of me telling you about the series, I'm gonna let them tell you about the series. I spoke with everybody. So this was the first one with Peter, the creator, Peter Craig, and Kate Mulgrew and Nesta Cooper. Take a look and a listen. Hi, Peter.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I really love Dope Thief.
Yes.
It was like a little mini movie in each episode. I was digging that.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So how did Dennis's novel get on your radar?
Apple already optioned it, and I went in there talking about something else, I think, and they asked me if I wanted to read it. And I loved those guys. I loved how he was with Philly, and I loved that start to it. I just loved the con that they were running and the whole mindset that they built to justify what they were doing. And I thought, okay, I can springboard off this into all kinds of things. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Tying into the Robin Hood theme, if you had to play Robin Hood, who would be your target?
Oh, if I had to go after somebody, I got to be careful about that now. We're living in a different era. I got to be careful what I say. I would go after someone in power that is maybe doing their own stealing. Let's just put it that way. Anybody can interpret that however they want.
I love you for that. You kind of circumvented around that.
Yeah, but it is what it is. I didn't say anybody specifically. It would be somebody who deserves to be stolen from is what I would do. We live in there's a lot of kleptocracy going on all over the world right now, not just here. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's my time. And I just want to tell you, I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to talking to you in the future about some other projects. But Dope Thief was really dope.
Thank you so much. I hope I get to talk to you again. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. One episode, though, that this made me laugh out loud, but made me think, and I want to get your thoughts on it. Where Ray's character is talking to you, Nesta, as Michelle, and I forget what it is you say to him, but he says, "Oh, you got that black mama voice." Right? And everybody has a mother, and everybody knows that voice when they're talking to us on the phone that they mean business. Can you remember a time, ladies, where your mama spoke to you and you knew you were in deep crap?
Of course.
I had the opposite. It's when she didn't speak that you knew. That's even tougher.
Scary.
That's scary. My mother would do that. She would just look at you.
Exactly.
She would just look at you, and you knew it was curtains for you at that moment.
Yeah.
Nesta, did you have a specific moment?
I was kind of just rattling off. I was doing my text for the first time. I had to be like 18 or 19 years old, and she was on the phone with me. She was listening, and I didn't realize this at the time, but I was doing my texts all completely wrong. And the way that her voice switched to basically like being like, "Now I need you to listen to me. Do not ever do that again. This is how you do your texts. And I'm not going to do them for you, but you need to walk to whatever, TD Block." I don't know if you guys even have that here in America, but yeah, she definitely had, the switch is very, very quick, and you can hear it, especially on the phone as an adult. You become more sensitive to it, I think.
Both of you have empathy and sympathy for Ray no matter what he did, right or wrong. And why do you think your characters were so protective of him and embraced him under those circumstances? I'll start with you, Kate.
Well, he's my son. I'm his de facto mother. I've raised him from the time he was 9. He means everything to me. He defines my life, and he certainly defines my capacity as a human being. So whether or not I'm raising my voice to him or slapping him around or laughing or screaming is actually beside the point. I think the audience can read immediately that she would take the first bullet for this guy. And she would.
Well, I think she sees a beauty in Ray, which is such a fantastic element of the show. Is I think as an audience and as viewers, we see so much goodness in Ray, and Brian plays him with such a sensitivity that you can't help but love him and be rooting for him the whole time, even though, of course, like every good main character, he makes a lot of mistakes and does the wrong thing. And so I think that Michelle just sees that. She sees what we all see in him when we watch the show, and is trying to have him see that in himself as well.
You were giving me the whole good cop, bad cop thing.
Good.
Which one are you in real life? Are you the good cop or the bad cop, Marin?
I'm the bad cop.
Really?
Yeah.
And I'm a goober cop. I am a goober. I am not like Mark Nader. I am the goober cop.
I love to drop a hammer. I really do. I love to just be like, we're not taking it anymore. Yeah.
What do you think about, what do you think makes a dope so, I mean, a thief so dope that they develop a Robin Hood mentality? What do you think it is that makes someone want to go that route as opposed to just doing the whole crime thing on their own for themselves?
There's like nature versus nurture, right? So like if they've had some experience with love and trust in their life, and also just some people, I think the size of someone's heart and how tender their heart is. And I think that these two boneheads in this show, two of the boneheads in this show, I should say, but Manny and Ray in particular, I think they both have really big tender hearts, and I think they both have some real love in their lives. And I think that's really the thing that makes these two guys really special. With Sherry and Teresa, they really have real love in their lives, and that changes things, I think.
Like to find the love in all the characters. You know, we're not really seeing any love life in Mark Nader's life, but he has a genuine love for his sidekick, Marchetti, played by Will Pullen. A lot of love, a lot of protective energy and frustration with his sister. played by Marin. I won't say too much about, I don't want to give away anything.
Yeah, I'm trying to circle around
Yeah,
that. So
I
we
know, I'm trying to
Thank you,
I'm asking.
appreciate it.
I'm
dance,
asking.
do the dance. It's the city of brotherly love. I think Peter captures that. It's a hard city, it's a rough city, it's a tough show, but at the heart of it is a ton of lonely people trying to do right.
Do you feel like, in light of what America is experiencing right now, we might see an onslaught of fake agencies and personnel popping up to enforce rulings set by our current administration?
Yes.
That was quick.
I feel like we already are. I think I just got 15 scam texts this morning saying, I think that we have to really be on our guard. We already are. We've been here before, and it's worse now. And I think we just got to take care of each other as best we can. And that's something. I mean, talking about this show, we were talking a little bit about how these are people that have found themselves in this kind of makeshift family, and they really have to ultimately try to save each other's lives. And I think about that a lot these days.
Here and abroad, there are things happening that I never thought I'd see in my lifetime. And so it only, not to sound hokey, but it only makes me want to dig into the gratitude even more. I get to sit here with you next to Marin, and tell the show about Philadelphia and all of its trials and tribulations. So, moment to moment, as an actor, we can do our best to reflect something. So, yeah, there's a lot of sadness around and a lot of challenges. You just look to the love.
And I think that is the perfect place to end. That was wonderfully and beautifully said on both of your parts. Thank you so much for your roles in Dope Thief. Y'all were, like, no pun intended, but y'all were dope.
Yay! Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. I'll see you next time.
Okay.
Bye. I loved talking to every single one of them, but without further ado, here are the two leads, the two besties, the two bros from Dope Thief, Brian Tyree Henry and Wagner Mora. Take a look and a listen. Bro.
Not the hand on the hip. No, what did
I'm gonna put my hand on my hip. Yeah, I'm gonna put my hand on my hip because, bruh,
Tell me.
you are doing the damn thing.
Thank you.
Oh my God. I just had to say that going, and this is my first time meeting you, Wagner, but you did it too.
I mean, thank you.
I'm gonna put 2 hands on here and both of y'all now. Like, what the hell?
All right, and look, we'll take
Let me
it.
stop playing. Let me stop playing and eating up my time. But what I love about Dope Thief is that it is, no pun intended, it is dope. But Ray and Manny go in hard for each other. Y'all are like a Philly crime family, Thelma and Louise, man and style. You know what I'm saying? So how far would each one of you go to protect and support a friend no matter how much they screw up or put you in danger?
That's a tough one because this is the whole thing for Manny, right? Like Manny's desperately trying to get out of this cycle of violence, but in order to do that, he sort of has to break up with Ray, who is the love of his life. This is a romance thing, right? Like he sort of have to break up with the love of his life in order to be loyal to himself. He sort of has to betray Ray, and that's something that he might never do. So it's a very complicated question. We all have been in a situation where we know what's the right thing to do, but we just can't. And I think this is it's a very tough dilemma. I don't know how far I would go. I really don't know personally.
I can tell you now that if Wagner ever got into anything, I would drive his Bronco. That's how invested I am in our friendship. If he called me and was like, "Man, look, somebody's at the bottom of the staircase. I don't know how they." I'd be like, "You talking too much. Let me stop at Taco Bell real quick. I'll be there. And I know you know that. I know you know that I would do that for you. So it's real. The minute that we met each other, it was that it was that kindred. It really was that kindred. So
It
like,
really
there's
was.
no limit to
and
what
that's,
I would.
yeah, and
you know.
that's I really cherish that. You know.
Y'all's answers, but Brian, why am I over here with my stomach hurting with you giving an OJ reference talking about the Bronco? I can't get
Because I mean, that was friendship. Like, how many people would really just be like, "Hey, man, my friend's in the back. His name's O.J. Simpson."
What happened to that dude that drove that car?
I don't know where he is right now. Like, I don't know.
still living his life on
Yeah, he's still living. He's still doing it. And look, the Broncos back now. Like, everybody messes with the Broncos. So, like, just know that I got you, man.
No, I got you too.
You okay? Like, don't forget that it's on film. It's on film. Just saying.
That is hysterical. And with that, that is my time. But I need y'all to know that this was really delightful to watch, especially your acting performances. They were spectacular.
Thank you.
The roller coaster that you took me on and kept me engaged for every one of them 8 episodes that I watched from beginning to end.
Well, watch this. Watch this. You're welcome. Thank you.
You're awesome.
We
And
appreciate
you're welcome.
It's always a pleasure talking with you.
Same here, Brian. I see y'all.
I love them so, so, so much. I want to thank Peter Craig, Kate Mulgrew, Marin Ireland, Aaron Aronson, Nesta Cooper, Wagner Mora, and Brian Tyree Henry for speaking to me about their new series, Dope Thief, which premieres on Apple TV Plus on March 14th, which is this Thursday. All right, so without further ado, last but not least, I want to talk about this film called Black Bag. It will be hitting theaters on March 14th as well. It's a Universal Pictures joint in association with Focus Features. It is directed by Steven Soderbergh and written by David Koepp. It stars Kate Blanchett, Michael Fassbender, Maris Abela, Regé-Jean Page, Pierce Brosnan, Naomi Harris, and Tom Burke. When his beloved wife, meaning Michael Fassbender's character, his wife, Catherine, played by Kate Blanchett, is suspected of betraying the nation, intelligence agent George Woodhouse, played by Michael Fassbender, faces the ultimate test, loyalty to his marriage or country. Now, I'm going to come back on camera and talk about this really briefly because I really dug this film. I like Steven Soderbergh's movies. His movies are always very emotionally stimulating for me and intellectually stimulating. But if I'm being honest, this film kind of reads like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf meets Jason Bourne meets Mission Impossible. I'm going to say it again. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf meets Jason Bourne meets Mission Impossible. Imagine all of that in one movie. It was yummy. It was delicious. I was there for all of it. There are fabulous performances by this all-star cast. I love the characters of George and Catherine, played by Michael Fassbender and Kate Blanchett. They were giving me life. And a lot of people are going to look at him and think it's a Mr. and Mrs. Smith situation. The only similarity between this film and Mr. and Mrs. Smith is that the couple in the beginning is, George and Catherine are married. That's where the similarities end. It is a high octane film. It is full of twists and turns and intrigues. And like I said, the performances of this cast are absolutely spectacular. The cinematography is beautiful. And I cannot say enough about Steven Soderbergh's direction. It is just chef's kiss A+. When I come back next week, I'm going to be talking about these films here because I can. I'm going to talk a little bit about Odessa, Control Freak, and Electric State. Electric State will be on Netflix, Odessa will be in theaters, and Control Freak will be on Hulu beginning on March 13th. Again, you guys, check out Black Bag. If you want to go check out any of the films at southbysouthwest.com, these are there. That's the website that you should go to check out the Curtis Mayfields, the makings of Curtis Mayfield, Uvalde Mom. Let me find the title of that film right there. I think it's Arrest the Midwife. I knew it was Arrest the Midwife. I'm Carl Lewis, among others. Okay, and then of course, check out Dope Thief on Apple TV Plus beginning March 14th. Riff Raff is already in theaters and you can possibly see it on YouTube. And in addition to that, if you want to see my recap of the Oscars, please go to rogerebert.com, rogerebert.com, and you can see everything there at rogerebert.com. Okay? Alrighty. That does it for me in this edition of the Curvy Film Critic with Carla Renata. I thank those who popped in and popped out. I thank those that are watching it after the fact. I thank y'all for giving me grace for missing a couple of weeks due to my personal circumstances. I'm I'm a very private person. I usually do not put my personal business online, but in case you don't see me being my usual fluffy self, or I seem a little subdued, that would be the reason why. And I just wanted to let you know. I'm going to check the comments to see if there's anything else. There is not. So in that case, I will, why is this happening? Okay. In that case, I will wrap it on up. I love you guys. Thank you again. Again, check out Black Bag, Dope Thief, Riff Raff, South by Southwest, and I'll be back with some more stuff next week. Okay. Take it light. Love, peace, and hair grease, and deuces.
Hold up. Wait a minute.